James Comey, our former FBI director, posted on Instagram something that many are interpreting as a call for violence on the president. Look at this. It says 8647.
He knew exactly what that meant. A child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear.
I love the confident, casual assertion that a child knows what 8647 means from a guy who just 2 weeks ago didn't know how Photoshop worked, thought that labels on a picture was literal tattoos. Tell me more, genius. But anyway, what he's referring to there, James Comey supposedly calling for his unaliving, is the photo that they showed it there in Fox and Friends. It's shells in the shape of 8647. With the caption, "Cool shell formation on my beach walk." Now, there is a backlash. The right have all decided that this can only possibly mean a call for violence, which they would never tolerate. They'd never do it themselves, obviously. So he should probably have already been taken out by law enforcement. We're waiting on that. But in advance of him being arrested, he posted this. I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down. So look, there's a lot that we have to jump into, but just really fast, he seems to be implying that he came across the shells. Now, I don't think doing the shells yourself and taking the photo is unacceptable. But I also think that that's what he did, and he's implying that he was just walking along the beach and he came across it, which I don't necessarily buy that, but what do you think?
That part is irrelevant. I might believe him, but I don't care. Yeah, if he did it as well, it's totally fine. All right, so if you're a right winger, you're not gonna wanna watch the rest of this video. That's not a thing you hear often, but we're gonna show how massively hypocritical the right wing is on this. And if you try to pretend that that the right wing is not hypocritical on this, if you don't know yet, no problem, we're gonna show you the evidence, okay? If after the evidence you still say, no, I don't see any hypocrisy here, you're a bit of a loon. Like you're disqualifying yourself from intelligent conversation. So, but hold on, let's see the receipts first. Maybe we're full of crap. Or if you want, just turn it off now because we're gonna prove that Trump is 100% full of crap here. So if that's gonna hurt your feelings, go away now. You don't wanna see evidence, I know.
Yeah, well, and to be clear, there's gonna be two flavors of being full of crap here. So the first flavor is implying that he could only mean violence, which is just, that's just not true, I'm sorry. 86 is slang meaning to throw out, to get rid of, or to refuse service to. Or like I said on TDR this morning, I was a bartender and I was a waiter and I've been a busboy. 86 means something's off the menu. That's literally all it means. It's slang. It's slang, and in particular, recently, for political purposes, there are some Democrats that use it. It just means you're opposed to Trump. People put it on signs. It doesn't mean that they're calling for him to be unalived or whatever. And you can say, sure, but someone might interpret it that way, or maybe the craziest person in a rally thinks that. That's fine. What you can't say is that that's what it means and that that's what he was intending, because that's simply not how numbers work. 86 in this particular case.
John, I'm gonna interrupt for a real quick question. So when you talked about 86ing when you were a waiter, how many people did you wind up murdering?
I mean, on a given night, 1 to 2 or whatever.
Okay,
you do more than that and the manager complains.
Yeah, because for all you waiters and waitresses out there, we all know you're serial killers.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna entertain this absurd, ridiculous, insane conversation.
Yeah.
But okay, let's
well, and the reason that I bring up the restaurant thing is, look, we're gonna be snarky and sarcastic in the rest of this, but for that portion, I'm just trying to educate you, because I know that you guys routinely, you're so disconnected from real life and real jobs, you mock people in the service industry. The idea that AOC was once a bartender is a joke to you. You're such men of the people, such populists. But anyway, so he's being investigated now by the DOJ. Pam Bondi is on this thing, and there is a real chance that they try to do something. They have no case, but whatever, they've disregarded the law, they disregarded the Constitution. Habeas corpus is a thing of the past, so sure, lock up a former guy from the FBI. In any event, here's what Don Jr. said about this. Just James Comey casually calling for my dad to be murdered. This is who the Dem media worships. Demented. Okay, just want to remind everyone, He's the guy that posted funny little jokes on Instagram about Paul Pelosi's skull being smashed open with a hammer. Very funny, yeah. Casually.
Oh, that's so funny. Remember when our fan was trying to murder you with a hammer? That's so funny. But he actually meant it. He thought that was funny. The attempted murder of Nancy Pelosi's husband was apparently hilarious to him. But a totally meaningless number that at a worst case scenario could be misinterpreted. He's trying to murder him. You histrionic little bitch. Okay, so I got a lot more where that came from. Sorry, John, keep going.
100%. And he was just one of the many right-wingers that thought that the fact that Nancy Pelosi was almost murdered, if she'd been there, she would have been murdered. Instead, her husband was almost murdered, was hilarious for months and months and months. Fox News host joking about it on the air. No consequences, didn't lose their job or anything. It was the funniest thing they ever heard. Kristi Noem says disgraced former FBI Director James Comey just called for the assassination of Trump. DHS and Secret Services investigating this threat and will respond appropriately. He's of course disgraced because he held loyal to his oaths to the FBI rather than just doing whatever Donald Trump wanted. Okay, I guess in the topsy-turvy bizarro world we live in, that is disgrace. Tim Burchett just says arrest Comey. Not look into it, not take it seriously, haul him away in chains because of the shell formation he posted on Instagram. But I'm very glad that free speech is so respected in America. I'm very glad that comedy is legal once again. Anyway, we also have Tulsi Gabbard, I believe, commenting on this.
How serious is the administration taking this, and what are the next steps gonna be?
We're taking this very seriously. The dangerousness of this, Jesse, cannot be underestimated. When we have 2 assassination attempts on the president's life, this is the guy who's issuing a hit on President Trump. Whatever James Comey intent, he and people like him need to be held to account according to the law, which is something that he claims to have given his life for and stands by the rule of law. Fantastic. The rule of law says people like him who issue direct threats against the president of the United States, essentially issuing a call to assassinate him, must be held accountable under the law.
Do you believe Comey should be in jail?
I do.
I did not think that I could be surprised by Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, she's a clown, she's been a joke for many years, but that's beyond, I think, anything before. It's a call for assassins. It's not a crass comment. It couldn't maybe be misinterpreted. It couldn't have multiple meanings. It is a direct call for assassination, and he should be behind bars because of the JPEG he put on Instagram. And she is dead serious. That is how far into this fascistic regime she is. That said, I know that you're really interested in the hypocrisy of it. If you want, you can walk us through Jack Posobiec or however it's pronounced. I can if you prefer, but I know that's your favorite part of this.
Yeah, so I can't wait to get to Moz too. So let me just, before we get to the hypocrisy, a couple of things here. The problem with the Bondi and Noem and Tulsi is that they signed up for it. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. They're forced to kiss Trump's ass. That's what the job description is now. So if Trump thinks it's an assassination attempt, they all have to go through and lie and go on TV and say it's an assassination attempt, and the president almost died twice, and so Comey almost nearly killed him a 3rd time. They have to say these outlandish, moronic, pathetic things, right? And because that's what they signed up for. Quick side note. I know we're often ahead of folks, but when we called out Tulsi Gabbard years and years and years ago, and a lot of progressives said, no, Tulsi's right, Tulsi's true left, you guys are right wingers. And then it turned out we were right, Tulsi's a giant fraud who kisses anybody's ass to get into power, okay? So you're welcome for exposing her years before anyone else did, okay? So here she is. And now, not only is she being absolutely ridiculous, but all these people, it's super ironic because they're putting Comey's life in danger. They're telling every unhinged MAGA guy out there, and you guys, if you've been paying attention to us, you know, we don't think all Trump voters are unhinged. We don't even think all Trump voters are MAGA. We have a sophisticated, nuanced look at Trump voters. But at the outer edge of MAGA is a bunch of loons, okay? And so when they hear, oh my God, Comey's trying to kill Trump, what do you think they're gonna do? the guys who smashed Pelosi's head in, Paul Pelosi's head in, you're putting Comey's life in 1,000 times more danger than Comey with his freaking shells put Trump's life. And are we consistent on this? Remember, Comey is the one that Democrats hated the most because he reopened the Hillary investigation right before the 2016 election. And that very likely did cost her the election. And Democrats loathed him for it. And what did we say here on the Young Turks? Were we biased and said, arrest him, lock him up, he's a traitor, it's treason? No, we said, hey, that's life in the big city. So he released it right before the election. Well, do better, win more votes, right? We never, like just because you don't agree with someone politically doesn't mean you go to arrest them. That's what authoritarian people do. I know. Oh, but you guys arrested Trump just because he had massive financial fraud and he took top secret documents home to his frickin' bathroom and left them there, et cetera, et cetera.
There was a coup.
I know.
There was a coup too.
And I'm so frustrated that people are so biased, they're blinded by their bias. Yes, on both sides, but come on, right wing. They do this 1,000 times more. Okay, now let me. Okay, before I get to the hypocrisy, let me get. But I swear the hypocrisy is beautiful. Maz, first you.
Wow, first of all, the authoritarianism is looking for excuses to arrest people. And so here we are. They're going after James Comey. And who knows who else is going to offend them or they're going to claim is a threat. And to your guys' point, I'm a comedian. When I hear somebody got 86, that means they got kicked out of the club. They got kicked out of the bar. And this actually is telling of, if anybody is actually interpreting that as a call to assassination, it's more telling about the person who's interpreting that than it is from the person that it came from. Because most people that I know 86 as getting kicked out of somewhere. If you interpret 86 as getting killed or getting assassinated, you probably are someone who is in that military mind frame and is aggro and ready to go. And so you guys are absolutely right. First of all, John, early on when you were talking about did Comey's claiming he came upon these shells. I can imagine Comey just literally walking on the beach on a morning and being like, what'd be kind of cool is if I did this 86-47 with shells, and it's gonna be great. People are gonna love it. And then he's created this crazy, crazy thing where people are saying, you wanna kill the president? And I know that, Cenk, you're gonna be talking about the hypocrisy. Some of the stuff that you're gonna be showing are some tweets I know, but more importantly, let's not forget, Elon Musk, when there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, Elon Musk went on Twitter and said, why hasn't anyone tried to assassinate Biden or Kamala? Like he basically was implying somebody should try it. Let's not forget that when the Central Park suspects were arrested, Donald Trump took a full page ad out to get them executed and has never apologized for it. So let's not forget that these people play the same game. Let's not forget about January 6th and what they were willing to do. And for them to take this thing and turn it around, this is clear as day, authoritarians looking for excuses to start moving the goalposts so they can start arresting people that they don't like.
Yeah, so on the Elon Musk tweet, by the way, we covered that, and outrageous, saying why hasn't anyone tried to kill Biden or Kamala? But then did we say Elon Musk must be arrested? It was clearly an assassination attempt, and he should be locked up forever. No, we didn't say that because we're not snowflake right wingers. Like, oh my God, it's a number. Okay, at a bare minimum, all right, is anyone in the right wing going to be honest enough to admit that it could be interpreted in either direction? At a bare minimum, way more used, not in the killing sense, but in the canceling sense. But if you say no, it's only used in the killing sense, well, you're lying, so it's okay. Or you're massively ignorant. You're just new to this country. Maybe you're an immigrant, I don't know, maybe undocumented, I don't know. I'm saying right wingers, okay? So maybe you're in a gang, I don't know. You don't understand numbers, you don't understand words. All right, so let's now get to the hypocrisy. First of all, Trump reposted an image of Joe Biden tied up in someone's trunk. And thought it was funny, like, oh, wouldn't it be great if someone kidnapped the president, tied and gagged him on the way to murdering him? That's so funny. Oh, but if you did that with Trump right now, if James Comey, forget seashells, had Trump gagged and bound in the back of a truck, what do you think they would do? I mean, they might convict him within 24 hours, like in some sort of kangaroo court, and go, treason, right? Okay, so what happened, right wingers? What happened to that Trump retweeting that? No, different rules, different rules. That was direct call for violence, but it's okay, it's different rules. All right, let's go to Posobiec. So I want to actually go to graphic 8 first, and then I'll go back to graphic 7. So he's super shocked by what's happened. He's outraged. So he says, the former director of the FBI is calling for the left-wing assassins to target our president and kill him. Have no idea why he hasn't been arrested yet. It's a good question because it seems like maybe the authorities are 3 years late in arresting Posobiec because back in 2022, he posted this about Biden, 86-46.
It's not even shells, it's more direct.
He literally wrote it out himself, posted it. So now I tell you that for 2 reasons. Number one, on people like Posobiec, he knows he wrote 86-46. He knows he's lying and doing histrionics. And he knows that it's totally benign because he did it, right? Or maybe when he did it, he meant assassinate Biden. We don't know that Comey meant that, but we just found out that Posobiec thinks every time you say 86, it means murder that guy. So I think the FBI, but the Secret Service, which is still protecting Joe Biden, former president, should go and talk to Posobiec. Because I don't think 86 means assassinate someone, but Posobiec just told us he thinks definitively it means murder someone, and he put that out about the former president. So under his, not my logic, under his logic, he should definitely be arrested right now. Okay,
just to be safe.
Now, is that going to happen? Are right wingers going to call for Posobiec to get arrested because they really believe the number 86 means murder every time? No, of course not. They're going to say, oh, he was just trolling. He was just trolling, man. No big deal. But seashells, seashells. Oh my God, there's seashells. I'm crying. Seashells. Come on, get the hell out of here. All right, it's not just Posobiec. Matt Gaetz. We've now 86, McCarthy, McDaniel, McConnell. Better days are ahead for the Republican Party. Of course they are because Matt Gaetz murdered all of those people. Okay, arrest Matt Gaetz, come on guys, who are you kidding? By the way, people have been saying 86 in politics for a long time, including Democrats. Gretchen Whitmer said it about Trump in the first time. She had like an 86-45 pin. But back then, people weren't pretending that that meant murder. They're now, the new thing is not the number. The new thing is, all of the Republicans at once pretending it means murder. So now we have to treat it like, oh, it's a real debate. And idiots on CNN are going around going, well, it could be, or maybe it should be investigated, everything is 50-50. No, guys, I'm the one who tells you, hey, listen, don't blame all Trump voters. Hey, let's be nuanced here. They're not all the same people, etc. But that doesn't mean when someone is 100% wrong that you call it 50-50. Okay, wait, well, I'm not anywhere near done. So now I know that Trump himself, because he's pure as the driven snow, and he's outraged by this number, would never call for violence himself. There's no way, John, I bet you can't find it on tape once. No. Beloved Donald Trump calling for violence when he's just the most peaceful guy on earth. Well, let's see if it's ever happened. Let's roll the tape.
President Trump escalating his war on the media. Tweeting a mock video showing him outside a wrestling ring, tackling and punching a man with the CNN logo covering his face.
You see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of him, would you? We're not allowed to punch back anymore. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
Man that was I don't know, you say roughed up. He was so obnoxious and so loud. He was screaming, and they did, I don't know, rough up. Maybe he should have been roughed up.
We will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country. Now, if you had one really violent day, one rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately.
If you up with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
Okay, so none of that was violent. Now, if you say, hey guys, the CNN thing is just trolling, right? He doesn't actually mean go attack a CNN reporter. Hey, you got good company, that was me. I was like, look, I get it, it's bad, he shouldn't do it, but he is trolling, right? So now, are you going to be fair back if you're in the right wing, and you're going to say, "Oh yeah, I get it." You see, if that was Trump instead of the CNN logo, and there was James Comey taking him down and punching Trump's face and stuff, I think it was just trolling, and it's no big deal. And it's seashells that say 86. I think it's no big deal. It's just at worst trolling, right? And are the right wing going to do that? No. No, they're going to see every one of those and go, I mean, he's just saying punch them in the face and hurt them really badly and then all these things. But it's all trolling. Nothing counts. If it's Trump, it's nothing counts. Okay, how about when Liz Cheney, when he said about Liz Cheney, they should train a gun on her face? Okay, now, what did I say then? I said, no, he didn't mean it like that. I said, and then we got into a little bit of a debate here, from what I recollect, okay? But it was a tiny debate, and I said, look, guys, he means if she's such a hawk, why doesn't she go into war? And we've said that in the past about chicken hawks like Dick Cheney, etc. And we had that debate and we were fair. But some folks on the left say to us, don't be fair. The right wing doesn't deserve fairness. On a story like this, it does make you think. So are we just both gonna be blind? We're just gonna both be biased, and we're just gonna tell you every time that Trump says something, he meant to murder everyone, and he meant to murder Liz Cheney, and then you guys are gonna say that, oh, you criticize Trump or Israel, that meant you murder and you're anti-Semite and etc. And we're gonna just inflate everything into some sort of ridiculous drama. Okay, and yeah, that's what people want. Yeah.
Really fast, and this is going too far. Remember when Trump supporters tried to run the campaign bus off the road?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Trump reposted the image of it because he thought it was awesome that they tried to run the bus off the road and maybe everyone would die.
So
that's one.
On that, see, the Liz Cheney thing is he was saying if she wants war, she should go to war, and then guns would be trained on her face. That doesn't mean train a gun on her face. In the case of the bus, they were literally trying to run the bus off the road. That was super dangerous. That was not seashells. That was not symbolism or a metaphor. If they actually ran the bus off the road, a lot of people would have gotten really hurt and maybe died. Yeah. And Trump's like, oh, that's awesome. I like that we're doing actual violence. That would be great if you did violence against the left. So spare me. And Trump like laughing at Paul Pelosi too. You mentioned that earlier. We smashed his head in. A fan of mine did it. Yeah, it's so funny. And you're concerned about violence. I don't know. Zero credibility. One more.
And one more, because this is about calling for violence specifically for a candidate. He was running against Hillary Clinton, and he said if she gets in, there's nothing you can do. Well, maybe the Second Amendment people, maybe they could do something.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that supposed to mean? There's no restaurant context. I was in a lot of different restaurants. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean you're off the menu. That means people who love guns could take her out.
Yeah, that was actually one of the worst things he ever said, because there is no other explanation for it. But every time you're told the right way, he says, so what? Get out of here. You look like bitches. If you're in the right wing, you look freaking pathetic. Oh, seashells. Oh, of course, the Second Amendment, we take out Hillary Clinton, we murder her. No big deal, we lock her up. You're gonna charge Trump? Oh, seashells. Come on, bitches, come on. All right, Maz.
By the way, first of all, they talk about cancel culture. They go, oh, you guys, you cancel, you can't say anything. And then to your point, this guy puts up these seashells and they're freaking out by it. And if I were his publicist, I'd be like, just go out and say 86-47 references when the last when the Mets won in 86 and the Yankees in 47. That's what I was talking about. And of course they say, no, you're trying to kill our guy. It's such a ridiculous thing that these guys are doing, and it is so hypocritical. And we saw like whenever there's like a mass shooter or even the guy who tried to shoot him, they tend to have allegiances to the right wing. They're not, I'm not saying there's not crazy people on the left wing, but I am saying that up until now, anyone who's been doing anything less violent tends to be going off of Trump's playbook, off of the far right's playbook. And so for these guys, again, to pretend like this is a thing is crazy. But more importantly, let's keep an eye on what they do, because if Comey does have to deal with some sort of legal repercussions, this is not a good thing for any of us, because they're gonna find ways to come after you.
Yeah, last point is from one of our members, Uriah Heap, reminded me of this. I had forgotten. You're awesome for reminding me. She's on tyt.com. I want to give right-wingers a history lesson, and she included a picture of the IDF bomb with my name on it. I think that's a little bit more of a threat than seashells with the numbers 86 on it. When they put your name on a bomb, that's a pretty significant threat. And that's why I had all of the IDF arrested. Okay, but go ahead, still pretend that this is a big deal, cry and cry and cry, and then try to arrest them, and the people talking about treason, and so, okay, now we're getting into real violence, etc. And then say, I don't know why people think we're authoritarian. I don't know why that occurred to anyone. Oh golly gee, we're pure. And all of a sudden somebody came along and said, oh, just because we want to arrest the guy that Donald Trump doesn't like for seashells, all of a sudden we're authoritarian. Yeah, that's how it works. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.